innovate
for the better.
Leuven is a hub of innovation.
It's a very diverse, compact city.
Open, multicultural atmosphere.
Creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship.
It's about being open to people and to ideas.
We believe that we can bring innovation in this world.
Even the most crazy idea can take shape.
That is certainly exciting.
Next up, we have Pieterjan Verhaeghen. He is the co-founder and CEO of a company called Bolt. There's an Estonian tech unicorn called Bolt. There's an American scooter company, I think, called Bolt. There's Usain Bolt. But in Belgium, we also have our own Bolt. And they basically deliver an energy platform that wants to make the Belgian power grid more sustainable and more transparent, letting Belgian consumers basically choose where their energy comes from, where their money goes. Pieterjan, please take it away.
Thanks for having me. Actually, we were first with the name, so afterwards the Estonian company changed their name, unfortunately, but they're not yet active here in Belgium, so luckily we're still alone. So yeah, let me present myself. I'm Pieterjan, one of the co-founders of Bolt. We started with the story 3 years ago, and I will go in the why directly. But let me first introduce you to Annick, Eddie, and Noël, one of the first producers that was selling their energy via our platform. And yeah, I will let you see more producers later in the presentation. So let's start with the why. Very simple. We saw that in Belgium, a lot of people were choosing for green energy. Why? Because sustainability is a very big topic these days. It's the challenge for society in the roaring 20s. So people, as an individual, as a family, they ask themselves the question, what can we do? We could indeed maybe travel a bit less, we could eat vegetarian, we could drive electric, we could install a heat pump or solar panels. So a lot of things people can do, but there's one thing that's really, really effective. It only takes 2 minutes. It's buying your energy from the grid from a green player. So people thought, okay, that's an easy one. Let's go for a green contract. With the results that here in Flanders, we are actually the #1 of the whole of Europe in percentage of green energy contracts. Almost half of the people, the households, have chosen green, which is actually great. It means that people here are enthusiastic, but there's an issue. We see that the majority of these contracts actually doesn't have any impact on the transition towards green here in Belgium. And yeah, that's a bit problematic because a lot of people think they're doing the good thing, but they don't have impact. And the result is now a bit absurd because we see that actually when we look at the production park here in Flanders, that we're actually one of the worst students of Europe. And yeah, that's actually the why that we start with Bolt. But how come that we ended up in this situation? I will explain you very briefly without going too technical. So on a European level, people wanted to organize the origin of energy. You have gray energy, you have green energy, but how can you make a guarantee that people buy green energy? So they said, okay, maybe we have to come up with a system where every producer living in Iceland, in Belgium, in Norway, or in Italy gets, on the one hand, of course, money in return for the energy they inject on the grid, and on the other hand, they get a certificate, which is just a certificate saying, congratulations, you have produced 1 megawatt-hour of solar energy or hydro energy. And this certificate, these people can actually sell on a European market, where on the other side, suppliers like Bolt, because Bolt is also, as a platform, a supplier, but also the big brands, they buy these certificates to prove to the regulator on a yearly basis that the energy they have been selling to people has been green. So this sounds great in theory. In theory, you would say, nice, we have supply, we have demand, it's matched, it's closed loop. So what's the issue? Well, the issue is actually simple. The market isn't really working in practice. Why? A very extreme case is Iceland. Iceland is an island that has always been 100% green. So it's a volcanic island, so it's all geothermy, geothermal energy, and hydro. And people in Iceland, even when it's really cold, they open their window, they don't care about heat pumps and so on, because they say every energy we consume here is green. So yeah, we don't care. Iceland is green. With the result that countries like Iceland, of course, the people don't want the certificate to prove that their energy is green and say, okay, let's sell this certificates on the European market. That's Iceland, but of course also Norway is a country that is similar. And on the other hand, you also have countries like Italy, for instance, where people don't really care about green like we do in Flanders. And they might have more green energy in Italy, but fewer demand. And they also all dump these certificates on the market, with the result that they're very, very, very cheap. So imagine a household consumes 3 megawatt hours. The certificate price is around 20 cents. This means that your supplier, when he is offering you 100% green energy, might just have made a phone call to a trader saying, hey, can I buy some certificates, paying 60 cents per year, and actually without doing anything for the transition to green. And that's really an issue because all these people think that they choose for 100% green, but they choose in the majority of the cases for suppliers that don't have an impact on the transition. And that's really annoying. That was really annoying us, and that's also why we started with Bolt. And as you said, Bolt is the first platform where people can buy their energy directly from local green producers, just like Annick, Eddie, and Noël in Zandhoven, but also other individuals. And people can be 100% sure that they buy and that they support local initiatives. So we believe at Bolt that the solution is quite simple. We remain the middleman, but we organize it in a drastically different way. People choose for a producer instead of a supplier, and Bolt is the company that actually makes sure that everything is well organized. So how does it work in practice? It's actually quite simple. If you go to the website, bolt.be, in our case. So you see a map of the whole of Belgium, and you see all the local producers that are sharing their energy on the platform. And imagine you live in Leuven, you can browse the website, you can see who is active in Leuven, and you can say, okay, I buy energy from Jan or from Luc or from Greet. And it doesn't matter, you just know that you're really supporting these local initiatives. So what do we want to achieve with this? Very simple, we want to promote local concepts like wind energy, in this case, Olivier & Co., like Annick, Eddie, and Noël with solar energy. This is an installation they installed on a public sports hall, a volleyball club. We have farmers like Valerie and Frederick, who have a biogas plant where they produce energy from manure and from organic waste. And we also have people like Stefan, engineers in Wallonia, that transformed that built small hydro installations on Dameuze. So everybody who has a local project, just like these individuals, are welcome to share their energy on our platform. And we want to give a transparent access to households to support these people, but we also want to make green energy more attractive. Up until today, all these nice initiatives were unknown. People didn't know about all these people because they were just selling it to the middleman and remained unknown. So now they can choose transparently, but they also can choose for someone. They're not just buying a contract with the word green on, which is maybe not really helping, but they really know who is behind and the story, and we hope that we can really make Streekstroom, a real green local energy, mainstream, so that it's not only bought by the hardcore green-minded people, but also by everyone, because the only solution will be if everybody chooses for good green energy. That's the only way we can achieve this 100% that we have to go for. So, of course, we also want to grow the community. So we started 1.5 years ago with 5 producers all over Belgium, and of course 0 families connected. And now we have over 120 producers on the platform. So we also want to inspire more people to do the same thing, because in Belgium we have few space. We can't put like the whole Sahara full of solar panels, just like they do in Morocco. So we really need everybody to develop their own project. Whether you are the boss of a big company, or you're a local entrepreneur, or you're maybe the president of the tennis club, if you have a roof, if you have space, you can actually develop your own project. And that's something that we also want to do. We want to inspire everybody to become a producer just like the rest of our community. So nowadays we're already with 120 and we're growing, and we hope that we can really achieve a situation where in every small town in Belgium we have at least a few projects, that when you choose local via the platform, that it becomes really tangible, that people pass by the installations when they're going to work or bring their kids to school. So how does it work then on the consumer side? It's actually fairly simple. So just as I said, all the producers are available on the platform, just like you go to Airbnb or to Booking to browse for a hotel or an apartment. You browse a producer via our platform. Once you've chosen one, it takes 3 minutes to sign up, just like a regular supplier, and we take care of the rest. So it doesn't stop there. Maybe traditional players just give people a contract, but we also want to engage them in a community where producers and consumers together try to make a difference in Belgium. And later on I will explain a little bit more, because we want to be more than just the middleman, more than just the platform. So the result is quite well. So now, after 1.5 years, we already have 15,000 families connected to the platform. So people start to get to know the concept and start making the choice for a Streekstroom, for local energy. But of course, we're not big enough yet in order to have a huge impact on this industry. The energy industry is a very political industry, also of an industry of giant companies. So we have to continue our growth to have more impact on the competitors, that the competitors are also obliged to become more transparent, but also on the regulator, on the politics. That's really important that also they choose to go more and more local and try to solve the problem here in Belgium. So, voilà, actually, who are we? We are a bunch of young people. We always say that we are the first generation that grew up with the climate change problems. And I guess we are really trying to make a change. Not everybody's on here, but we're growing and we're still a small team. But we really want impact. And we're not just doing this to grow or to sign people in for contracts, but we want to achieve more. And to explain a bit, so to give you some examples of what we do as a young team, voilà, is the first example is our Schumallstrom Campaign. So remember Iceland, the island that has always been green, that's actually exporting all their certificates and opportunistic suppliers buying them. So actually, it's a very complex problem to explain to people, and energy is a boring product, so it's really difficult to actually make sure that people understand the why of Volt. So we made an explainer video of 1 minute. We asked people to share it, and for every share, we would send 1 certificate back to Iceland. 1 certificate that cannot be used by other suppliers to color grey energy green here in Belgium. And really, as a statement, we want to send 1,000 certificates back. And luckily, a few months later, the video was shared more than 1,000 times, and that was already a great achievement for us, because we noticed quite fast after the launch that people were totally not aware of this problem. And we kept our promise. The first idea was to go with a sailing boat, but that was a bit difficult, definitely with Corona. But we found a nice guy from Ghent, Koen. And Koen is an Icelandic Belgian, and he had an Icelandic passport, and he has a Belgian passport. So he was able to travel during Corona, because this was last summer, to Iceland to bring back the 1,000 certificates in an electric car with a ferry. And it was actually a really nice campaign, because he managed to give these certificates to this lady here on the left. Nobody knows who she is, but she's the Prime Minister of Iceland. And we were really able to get press coverage there in Iceland and to go beyond the borders to really explain also people in Iceland that there is an issue with this, with the system, the European system, and that they actually should keep their certificates because they're actually messing up the energy industry in Belgium. And that's has totally nothing to do with Belgium, because we only can make customers in Belgium, but this gives us energy. The fact that we can do these kind of campaigns and then suddenly we manage to get to the Prime Minister, that's really giving us energy. And I think when we're talking about front runners and really trying to make a change, this is an example. And I have a second example with me. This is Camping Belgica. So yeah, actually, it's all started with an article in the press talking about the footprint of festivals. And we all love festivals, of course. We all love music. And we noticed that 75% of the footprint of festivals comes from diesel generators. So, of course, all these festivals, they hide their diesel generators somewhere behind the main stage, maybe. And, of course, we also, as a festival visitors, always saw like these typical marketing initiatives where there was like a windmill installed at Pukkelpop where you could charge your mobile phone. But, of course, this is peanuts. This is just also actually, just like the certificates, a bit greenwashing. And that's something that we wanted to change. We love music. We know a lot about energy. Can't we do anything about it? Can't we really get rid of these diesel generators? And that's why we actually worked on a mobile solar park with Bolt. And actually here you see these solar panels there on the floor. This is a mobile solar park that can be moved from festival to festival, from event to event, and it produces energy locally. And we built this actually first for festivals, but then Corona happened. And then we found a really nice initiative of Studio Brussels, where they have been making radio for 2 months from Lokeren, from a really nice place in the middle of nowhere in the nature. And they wanted a sustainable solution. And we were like, we have something for you, because we were working on it. And that's why we installed these solar panels together with a very big battery. And it works really simple. The moment that the sun is shining, the small festival could take their energy directly from the solar panels. But the moment that they were not consuming, the solar panels were fueling a huge battery. A huge battery that was actually made out of 10 car batteries. And the moment that the sun was down, because it was up until 11 o'clock, they could use the rest of the energy during the broadcast. And that's a small case, because it was a small event, where we actually proved that you can do it differently. You don't need diesel generators to have an event in the middle of nowhere. There is a possibility to use batteries in combination with solar panels. And that's something we also want to do. This year, we hope maybe with Corona that some events can still go on. But we want to put main stages and really stages on the same principle. Because we just know on an event, you need a hell of a lot of energy at the same time in a specific place where there's no public grid. But maybe we can have a solution with batteries, solar panels, and maybe some energy coming from the grid, from our local producers fueling batteries. And that's something as well very typical for us. We want to make a change, and we use this drive to make a change. And then we ask ourselves the question, how come these giant companies with all their money didn't do this before? Because actually the technology is there. It's just a matter of doing it. And that's actually to end the pitch. I guess it's just trying to do and make a change and start doing it. And to end, I show some pictures of all producers. So there are that many projects on the platform, and they're all different. It goes from schools to farmers to public buildings to big companies. It doesn't matter, but everybody can make a change. And only if everybody makes a change and develops their own solar installation or wind installation or hydro or real green energy installation, we can get to this target of 100% renewable energy. Of course, also on the consumption side, it's really important that people try to take a little bit of time to investigate more on the origin of energy and really look for suppliers or ways to engage in a good relationship with energy suppliers. And that's actually what I hope to achieve. And if you have more questions, you can always get in contact with us. If you feel like you want to work together, feel free to contact us. And thanks for your time. Voilà.
Great, Pieterjan, thank you so much for joining us. Today I learned that Iceland is actually green. It's not Greenland, but it is a green island. And that green energy doesn't always mean that it's green energy, and that there's still a lot of things that are not very transparent about this green label when it comes to energy. So thank you so much for clarifying all that. It was really, really a pleasure to learn more about the Belgian Bolt, and I'll be looking forward to the future of the company.
And innovate for the better.
Leuven is a hub of innovation.
It's a very diverse, compact city.
That is certainly exciting.